Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and some more Blood and Valor here. We're going to start a little series on reviewing all the different scenarios for the game and just kind of having a little commentary on those just to help break down some of the ways that we can have some fun with the game. Some will be more competitive focused, like tournament type scenarios that they have, and some will be like the more narrative focused ones as well. And the game, even with just the books out now, there's a ton of fun to have there. So it's not all necessarily needing to be the same old like trench warfare type of setup as well. So let's just start with one of the most basic ones, right? We'll start at the beginning, makes sense. Meeting engagement is the scenario there. And we can see deployment's pretty simple here. We got essentially 24 inches of no man's land and then the deployment zones there as well on either end. So let's just jump in. Not an overly complicated one. So as it implies, two forces accidentally coming into contact with each other, this causes an intense firefight to break out. So for the setup, both players will roll a d10. The player with the highest result chooses what side they want to deploy their troops on. The deployment zones for each player are 12 to 18 from the center of the table. The player who lost the roll must deploy one of their units first, followed by the winner, and then you alternate all the way through. And then the game begins once all the units are deployed. So again, you can kind of see that there. Game length is simple, nice 6 turns there, nothing fancy. And then victory conditions here, it's also, again, pretty basic. The goal of the scenario is army destruction, so if there are models from both sides on the table at the end of turn 6, the player with the most kill points would then be the victor. So yeah, we're not always going to necessarily be able to wipe the opponent off the board, so in that sense, basically whoever can kill more of the enemy. So nice and simple, your most basic bog standard scenario. Now we could bring in some things, and which we'll see like when we get to like the expansion book, the Empire's End of Empires book that they have brings in some other conditions that we could apply here. But just to give you guys an idea, right, we could have night fighting in this, and that adds another fun twist to it. And you know, we could play around a little bit too with like the deployment system if we wanted, if this was just like a casual setup, right? So a lot of neat little factors we could do there, and obviously the terrain will influence that as well. So we could have your sort of typical World War I trench type board, but if we're playing in other theaters as well, right, that could be much more open and interesting. Could be like maybe we're battling like with like ruins of a town as part of this, or a village. This could be up in the mountains, right? Could be more on like the Eastern Front, or even could be like in some of the African settings and other stuff as well. So doesn't always have to be simple, doesn't always have to be boring in that, right? We can add some interesting tweaks to it as well. I think even the Empire's book brings in other like weather things. So it could be like, hey, well, what do we do if we were playing in the winter, for example, right? Do we want to bring in more rules relating to that as well? So a lot of neat little things here, and we could even play around with maybe even having like some reserves in this as well. So just yeah, so we just don't have to necessarily, if we're playing some casual games here, keep it to strictly that, right? You can obviously have some fun if you're not in a tournament setting with like more prescribed rules. But yeah, basic scenario, just a good one if you want to just get a game out real fast. Basically both sides just show up and then get into the battle. Pretty simple victory conditions as well. And sometimes it's just fun to just have a little firefight and roll some dice. So let us know, guys, how you typically go about your meeting engagement. Do you ever vary it up a little bit? Do you ever bring in some of the other rules from, again, the End of Empires expansion? What do you do to spice up the meeting engagement, if anything? Do you normally just play like from tournament games, or have you ever bring this one out just for like some casual fun? Hit us up in the comments there, guys. We'll have more Blood and Valor for you soon. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.